I'm an avid bird watcher. I took up the hobby about 3 years ago, and it's really been one of the most enjoying, fulfilling experiences of my life. I remember when I was little, my grandmother had several bird feeders and baths in her backyard, and I would sit at the window and watch all the different birds fly in and out. Robins, brown thrashers, cardinals, blue jays, as well as many more that I couldn't identify at the time. But it was my love of bird watching, or some people are now calling it birding, that led to an experience that I would never, ever forget. It was about this time last year on an unusually warm January day when I trekked up to Dawson Forest Wildlife Management Area. Dawsonville is north of Atlanta in Dawson County. The location is a large area of varied habitat near the Etowah River. I knew that the marshy wetlands hosted breeding species including common yellowthroat, indigo bunting, blue grosbeak, orchard oriole, so on and so forth. Plus, I was counting on seeing what species could be seen along the edges of the forest. There was a nice blind with a bench overlooking the pond where I could look for waterfowl and waders. So that's exactly where I headed once I got there. I hit the bench, took out my thermos of piping hot coffee, poured a cup, took a few sips, and just kind of took in the surroundings. The morning mist had all but dissipated. I broke out my Athlon Argos binoculars, looked out across the pond, and got the shock of my life. Standing on the far bank of the pond was some kind of large canine-type creature. It reminded me of something in many of the werewolf movies over the last several years. Its ears pointed straight up. It was very tall and had broad, powerful-looking shoulders. Through my binoculars, I could make out its muscle definition, and its eyes had a very deep orange tint to them. The other really strange thing about it was that it seemed to have hands with fingers instead of paws. I was in an absolute vortex of abject fear and wild fascination. Now the creature looked around and then went down on all fours and started drinking, but stopped after only a few seconds. It raised up its nose and I could see its nostrils flaring. Then came a moment of total terror. It must have caught my scent because it locked its eyes dead on me. And I didn't move. But while I kept my binoculars on the creature, my brain was on fire trying to calculate how fast I could get back to the car. Then, as it kept those enormous fiery eyes fixed on me, the creature let out a roar that hit me like a tornado. From that point on, I was in survival instinct mode, and I'm sure that I moved faster that day than I ever had in my life. Shit, I'm not even sure that my feet were touching the ground, and before I knew it, I was slamming the car door shut and starting the engine. I don't even think I exhaled until I hit the on-ramp to the interstate. So that's what happened. I have read a good bit on cryptozoology since then. All kinds of encounters with all kinds of creatures. Chupacabra, Mothman, Bigfoot, lake monsters, and a menagerie of other weird things. And of all things, my first and so far only cryptid experience had to be with a damn dog man. Maybe the very worst of all.